Welcome everybody to the 5th episode of our playthrough. Today we're gonna start working on some more farms and hopefully get some building done. Now we finally have fortune, we can get into our iron armor and finally get out of this iron armor and finally get right into diamonds right now. This goes way quicker with an actually good pickaxe. And with all this, we should get this quick first part of the episode done and get into this iron armor. I'm not sure if we're gonna enchant it this episode. It depends of all we do. I want to finally get some building done and get a good food source around here. Because right now I just run off a chicken. I kill off a random animal and I just put it in the campfire because we did not really have any coal or anything, which is something we gotta fix. Well, we still need to go end island hunting for an elytra and some shulker boxes, because last time I did that, the footage got corrupted, which was last episode. And this time, hopefully, it should end up going better, and we should be able to just get that finally. We have all these ender pearls, which should make it go a lot quicker. But it depends how close the farthest end city is, which the way I was looking, I looked for like 40 minutes and never found one. It's basically just nothing out there, which is kind of annoying. And maybe if we spawn the Ender Dragon again, we can get a better spawn around there. But who knows? Most of the crystals by the Ender Dragon are already still up, because I didn't even bother to knock them down. I just waited for the dragon to perch, and I just killed him. We're starting to get near the end of our mining adventure, and we ended up with 49 diamonds, which is definitely enough to get all our tools ready and to get finally into this diamond armor. Now that we're back up, we can finally get out of this iron armor and get into some diamond ones. While we make our tools, this episode I'm just gonna sound very snotty. That's because probably the next couple episodes I'm gonna be very snotty. Before we go back to our little end island adventures, I'm gonna work at this Enderman farm for a little bit to get ourselves some XP. With our chest plate, we should be able to get protection 4 on it, which is one of the most important things. And I have a feather falling 4 book right here, and we'll be back at those islands. And we're back, and we're finally gonna get some footage of the end islands. At first, this didn't end very well. I just accidentally stared at like 5 endermen. They just kept chasing me. So I threw an ender pearl, and I died. But luckily I was recording and I was able to get my stuff back in like a couple minutes because the coordinates, which is pretty good. And that was mostly the worst thing that happened in this adventure. And it just set us back a good maybe 5-10 minutes, which isn't terrible, but it can be better. And hopefully I don't have to go hunting these end islands a lot because they're actually terrible. It took me like 30 minutes last time and I didn't find anything. This time it took me like 30 more and I only found 1 ship. Which hopefully we don't need to replace those wings anytime soon. And right now we don't even need them, we just need the shulker boxes. Because so we can actually start working on our project. Right here I kept 1 shulker alive so I can bring it back to the overworld and make a shulker box farm later on in the series, which is going to be really helpful. This one we had a lot of close chances. With the meat just ran out of food and I ate the course food. It just kept sending us back to right where we started, which is kind of annoying. It just happened again, but we lived through it. With this getting finally underway, we should have a lot of shulker boxes, which is going to help us start our actual little projects during the episodes. This one I do have a project set up, and it's hopefully going to be done by the end of it. It's not very difficult, but it's just a lot of building, and most of that is going to be done off camera, especially just the building the random blocks for it. This is where having people in this world would be fun, so I can actually have somebody to talk to while I'm doing this. Because I basically just did this all by myself, just watching YouTube. Which, in my notice, sometimes I just stand there doing nothing. That because I just get too distracted from being bored. What we could do is either make this world into a realm and work it like that, or later on we can, when this world is starting to wear down and we're in for the 1.21 update, we can bring some other people over here and make a little world with them. It just depends what happens and how long the update takes to come out. It's probably going to be a good like 5 more months till it is. And right now most of the stuff in the update is not even known. But right now let's just focus on the end city and just get through this. This should be only a part of the episode. Maybe even like half of it just getting set up. It depends if I get my other project done. And if we don't run out of time, which is an obstacle, but we can make it work. I should have really took one of those end chests, which would have been useful, but I didn't. Which is kind of annoying, but we'll live through it. We finally actually get our elytra over here, which another thing's useful. And we took those healing potions, which saved us once during this. But another thing, we actually end up dropping that head. And over here, I actually started our project I was talking about, and I want to start repopulating this village. I'm not sure if all of them just ran away by now, but it does look like we have a good amount still here, which is a big bonus. What I'm probably gonna do is just trap villagers in this house and start bringing them up, which pretty good. And near the end, I'll probably just transfer them a lot to like this trading hall idea I have, and that'll just use a lot of iron. And right now we just need like some beds and a pit. I ended up getting a lot of beds off camera because I was just waiting for sheep to get all their stuff. You can see that when I probably put like 25 blue beds down with just me just sitting there waiting, getting wood, mostly just getting items for a little project, which has not been real difficult, and it'll keep us entertained for now. This project is also a way for me to just not do any building. I've been thinking about that, I just don't really know what to build right now, which is kind of not a very good thing, but we'll work through it. I got a couple blocks, and ended up getting some dark oak by this forest I found right by our house, which is pretty useful, and it's probably going to be the base star thing. But right now we just have to get this done, and have hopefully not a lot of problems during this. Right now, luckily for some reason these villagers didn't even fight back. We just gotta push them in. And good thing they got such a big forehead. You can just knock them in and put a trapdoor above anything, which is a big plus and makes this thing a whole lot easier. But that's about it for the villagers for right now. We just have to remember where this house is and just keep bringing more and more of them. Near the episode, we should have like 20 grown villagers, and if we get to this part, I'm gonna make like a trail, like a railroad path all the way to where we're gonna keep them, which is probably gonna use all our iron and most probably all our gold, but what I'm planning should bring that right back. I'm not actually sure how much bets I put in there. I think I went a little bit overboard with, I probably ended up with like 25, 30-ish. Well, it should just keep us with the extra villagers in our little hole we're gonna make. Which sounds bad because it's honestly not the best thing, but it'll do. So we don't actually run out of villagers from just them being villagers, basically. Which we'll live. And right here we actually have a different hole. This is for a different villager. We're gonna have a farmer villager right here so we can have a constant strain of bread. So we can get this bread so we can breed these villagers to make more villagers. It's just a constant breeding loop with these for right now. And we should be able to put these things to work in no time. Which is a big positive. And over here I'm just thinking of what we can do. For later, we can actually make the house better. And we can make it look better and a little bigger on the inside. Right now, I start working on my pit, which it's gonna be filled to the brim with villagers by probably the end of the episode. Depends how long I'm working on this off camera. And mostly we're just using their bad AI and how nothing knows how to attack trap doors, like in every mob farm. But this is just gonna be a villager farm. It's basically the stupidest one we can make, but we did. It's just they just run looking for that bed, and that makes them fall in the hole, which just keeps making more and more, which is the good thing. And right now for this village, later we actually need to start repairing it, because while I do this, I get creepers blow up on me 24/7, and that's not a real good thing. But bringing this village back to life and bringing some good builds and repairing it could actually be a real good thing. That villager outpost over there is one main reason we're actually here. So with this pillager outpost, for right now we're gonna make it's gonna be a raid iron farm, which it isn't gonna get the best rates, but it's more like a starter thing, to be honest. And it has a little trading hall in it, and that's just basically it's just for right now, and it's gonna set us up for later real good. And later I want like a 24 stacked raid farm, which is gonna take more than one episode to do. It's gonna take tons of episodes, and we're finally gonna get it done one day. And when we get there, we should actually have a lot more experience doing bigger things in this game, which I know how to do some stuff, but it's still kind of iffy with actual redstone. But we're end up getting there. With this fletching table, I'm gonna use sticks to get emeralds. Now I'm gonna use these emeralds to get breads to make more villagers, which is just gonna end up becoming a little loop. Which most of this is just gonna get cut out, which is not a real problem, but it's just something I'm gonna have to deal with. And one thing I actually did off camera is I got a fast horse over here, which is just a way to basically get back from home in here in a couple of seconds, which is way easier that we don't have mining or unbreaking our elytra, or have any sense of gunpowder that's not like 13, honestly. But right now the elytra's not even needed. The chest plate is better, so we just don't die all the time. But you know, we'll just keep going. Right now, actually, I trap our little farmer villager so we can finally start this loop. For some reason, I actually try to lure the villager with emeralds, which doesn't work. I thought they like walk towards you. Well, I guess I'm just stupid, but we live to learn. If it did just walk near you, that'd make everything a lot easier. That'd be a good idea. Not make it as powerful with wheat, but just make it something. Make it where they like don't move, or they like slightly travel with you. But for right now, all we have is basically just put them in a hole and put them in a boat so we can travel, which is annoying. One thing I don't understand in Bedrock is why can we not one-hit boats like Java can? I don't know if I'm just stupid, but I've not found a way to. When we hit them with an axe, it just hits the same thing that if we just hit them with our fist, which I don't know if that's a bug, but it's annoying and I do not know how it works. But that's just one of my little faults I have this game. But there's a couple stuff, and I don't know if I'm gonna forever stay on Bedrock on this channel. I might do like a Bedrock and Java series. It really depends how much time I have, but who knows. If we ever do that, it's gonna be probably years ahead, but doesn't matter right now. Right now, while we wait for our baby villagers to level up is we actually went to the Pillager outpost to stop the spawning, which I'm honest, I did not hit. I hit him like twice in 100 swings, which I'm surprised I didn't even die. But that's not important right now. That's one reason we have this locator map, so we can see which way this is facing. This one's facing south, which would it just changes the spawning spots, which makes it where it kind of makes it less efficient for the raid captain, which doesn't really matter. But when we work on the 24 stacked farm, we might finding one that's north that gets the most spawning spots. But that's just something I was thinking of. This one's just really close, and it should just be really good for all of us. It's just gonna be a pain getting all the villagers up there. And this raid captain actually messed me up a lot later on. It's probably not gonna be the video because most of it was me running around the village, just trying to find these raid people, which it wasn't the most. It took like 20 minutes to do. No villagers died. It just gave us like 50 emeralds, which actually it set us up a lot. But it's just kind of boring because I was looking everywhere. This little village is in the middle of a like forest, which just makes them very hard to find. Luckily, stopping these spawns is just as easy as knowing where they spawn, which basically just me digging down, then putting a block where they spawn, which is the easiest thing we can do for right now. And it just makes it where we don't encounter them while we start working on our little project. I honestly still don't know if we're gonna end up doing this in this village video, but I hope we get part of it done, and mostly that we have fun doing it during this. It didn't start off the best, but we eventually figured it out. It was just a problem with first I didn't know if they were gonna spawn there or not, which was kind of annoying, but we got it good. And at the end we just couldn't get the water to flow right, which was something, but we eventually figured it out. I think it was just something the hopper was too high up, but good thing I thought of that. I usually don't, but we eventually figured it out, and we actually went on building the platform for this, and that's just how it went. The platform wasn't very difficult. This part we had to set back a little bit. I did that off camera because it's just stuff I was fixing to make the farm actually work. I tested it in a creative world to see what would happen, which was very useful. It helped me fix some stuff in it, and it helped me just make sure it actually worked. Now we got spectator mode in Bedrock and made that process a lot easier. For this, I was supposed to make it north to south, but I made it east to west, which hopefully shouldn't affect it, but it's a maybe. During this I kept falling off, which is real annoying. And I probably should have put water on the ground, but I never did. And I just ended up tiring my way back up a lot of times, which it wasn't the best way to do it, but we eventually got it working. This part of it, I followed the tutorial just by SilentWhisper, which does pretty good Bedrock stuff, and a lot of his stuff is gonna be from him while we are on Bedrock. I'm thinking about moving to Java just so we can have a better experience, and I can start editing the videos different ways, have actual time lapses instead of just speeding up the footage, which could be a pro and could not. It just depends what ends up happening over time, but that does not matter right now. we just gotta focus on getting this farm done. This part did end up biting me later, and I just had to keep fixing it, but I eventually got it. This part right here is actually what kept me doing it the most, because I kept putting the beds either on the wrong side or a block too high, which was annoying, and I barely even figured it out. But we ended up getting it all good, and we ended up getting this done. It's technically functional, but next episode we're gonna put a storage system in it. I cut out most of this bed part because it was just kind of repetitive and just me messing up again and again. But we ended up figuring it out, and we just got it done. I'm glad I decided to use stone for this. It just gives it a better appeal, which is just mostly what I wanted. And for this right now, we're just working on getting the walls up so we can actually get this functional and start using the blocks in it. And we just keep doing this for a little bit, and it doesn't really go. Next is just the basic luring the pillagers into this little trap we have. It ended up going pretty good, and I learned some stuff about this I didn't know. I have made a villager farm before. It wasn't like this, but it was it was decent. This one's better, and it has a little place for the villagers, which is really useful. And this one actually has a roof, which could stop some stuff from happening. Mostly, it was just kind of easy to make because I already know the stuff from when I did it a couple weeks ago in my own world. And I would have got way easier if I didn't keep. Now that we have to bring the villagers over, I decided to build a big railway over there. I didn't film it because it's just boring. I basically just watched a TV show and just did this. It wasn't. We actually got it done pretty quickly. It was just getting the villagers to follow you, which is a big. I'm probably gonna use this little track to even get to the raid farm now. I did the testing. I don't think they can spawn on it, but if they can, I could just put leaves over the tracks, which you can't suffocate them. It's just gonna take a little work, but it's not really difficult. Right now, I'm just trying to push the villagers into the cart. They're just trying their best to get away from it, which is another pain, but we still can make it work. These villagers we're getting right now are actually to detect the bed so the other villagers can work, which this right here is a main part of the iron farm that we're gonna build in here. And it's something I didn't know, but it's a good thing to know. And if the other villagers died, the raid farm would still work, but the iron farm won't. Which is a pro. Both of it is. And if those villagers die, we still have the villagers in that house still breeding. There's probably like 25 grown villagers in that hole. They just kept breeding, and they just wouldn't stop, and that's just what it's mostly about. Right here, I use the track so I can get up here again, which has been good. A part of this was learning what you can't place on leaves, and that's mostly everything. Now that we're getting all the villagers trapped in here, the raid farm is now functional. It's just gonna be a while till we work on it. I ended up bringing one villager to the trading hall, just mostly to figure out how it's gonna work. And I was thinking of bringing them all, but I'll leave that for next episode. And before I bring them all, I'm gonna build an item sorter. That's all what I'm gonna leave for next, because we're starting to run out of time during this one, and it's already running longer than usual, but that's how I've been wanting it. This this one's been all over the place, but we eventually got it done. Now we got our main objection done. Next episode we can work on the item sorter. And that's all we have for today. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.